Okay, this is a video for the Fearless Pearl. Something Pearl? Pearl something. I'm sorry. That's absolutely unprofessional not to even know the name that I am. I'm not a professional, so forgive me. This video was actually not supposed to be it wasn't even supposed to look like this. It was supposed to be a briefcase and me placing the FH7 into the case in the position that I thought it belonged at. And then everything went haywire because I wanted to do a final listen while I was putting it in my mind between what it was going to take over and what was going to be pushed down. Just a final checkup, and I actually used this track right here. Let me go back to the beginning so I can talk a little bit. There's a bassist in this track at the beginning that's not prominent but present. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's a bassist, you can hear the bassist, but it's not stepping out to you. It's not like John Paul Jones at the beginning of Days of Confused or nothing like that. Just it's a bassist, but I couldn't catch it really clearly with this set. So I was thinking, what the fuck? And I had this Fearless set on my right because I got off this camera. I've got 2-3 IMs that are coming next, and so I can see visually which ones I plan to do next. I line them up in that order. It's the weekend. I'm not going to be using this room for anything else, so I can do that, and then after that write it down on a piece of paper. That's about as organized as I possibly get. So I grabbed the Fearless. That's 2BA, and I'm thinking, I heard these. I wasn't, blown away or anything, but they didn't sound bad. They sounded good. If you've been following me, I haven't really mentioned these at all. They came in because they were physically on this table and because I was confused. And so what I did is I went into this and I opened up the EQ, and thankfully it's still where I left it. Well, I dropped everything to the floor. This is just basically volume control so I can get as much separation and space between, so this is what, minus 15 and plus 15, so this is a 30. Between here and here is 30 dB, right? Minus 15, plus 15. If I floor all of this stuff, I give myself more space between 250 and 64, literally. So I elevated like this. This is still the bass, but I don't want to put this up too much because it'll create a kind of a muddiness. And turned it on, and then played with the preamp, and was trying to get the FH7s to slam. It's a Berlin driver. Tupac sounds like really potent, and I couldn't get it to do it without sounding really bad. Then I went and took the Fearless, and I did the same thing, and I was only able to get a little bit up. Let's say 3 or 4 dB, but that was enough to get a good punch, a good kick, and sounded good. What I would consider to be good. And this is balanced armature. I was going for bass head with this, couldn't do it, and then backed off of that and was just like, can this even do what this wasn't doing at the beginning, which was just good 4-string bass. And this did that better, which is a trip. So if I were to go into an audio shop, and this was the last two that I had to choose from, and they were the same price, because I gotta say price, because if they weren't, I would take this right away, just instantly. I'd be like, boom, boom, listen, okay, I take this one, because I think this is what's cheaper. But let's say that they were the same price, I'd do the same exact thing. I would take this set, because this is off now, as it's supposed to be. This has a lot going on. It's basically a 3-part song. It's got kind of an intro, it's got a middle with a scene from a baseball announcer who's talking about a guy running from first to second base. The analogy being like making it with a girl. First base is you got your hands on her body, you're taking her bra off, and then you get to second base, and whatever you think those bases represent is what they're doing in this song. And then after that, it goes to the man-woman kind of back and forth. It sounded awesome on this, and it didn't sound that great on the file. Sounded relaxed, slightly hazy. Relative to this, a balanced armature which sounds cleaner and faster because it doesn't have a dynamic driver, but a beryllium coated driver should also sound relatively quick. But this sounded better. And I was so impressed with the way that this sounded, I went and got a couple vocal tracks to add to what I've already got on here, including Jim Croce, which sounded absolutely wonderful on this set. Fearless is a trippy company. They make some of the most amazing stuff, and then they make other stuff that I just think, like the Hyper S, that, yeah, good, but for that price, nah, no way, no. But every company does something like that. So, but this is a 2BA. I think it's reasonably affordable, and it sounds really good. I went into Dead Presidents. The title of this song is called Hip Hop. If you want to hear, you should watch the video on YouTube. The video is dope. Love this a lot. You might actually recognize some parts of this song because it's sampled in a lot of modern tracks. So I'll let you discover that for yourself if you want to. But this sounded absolutely dope. Ripple, Grateful Dead. This is the guitar that comes in, and then Jerry Garcia with his voice, and sometimes it sounds overwhelming. So I'm done with the FH7 for now. I'm not going to put it in my top 5. I've got to rethink the whole thing now because I just ran into something that I didn't notice the first time I did the video. I still think it's a good set. I don't know if it's one of my favorites or one of the best in my opinion. But this set is actually really good. And on the library that you're looking at right in front of you, see if you can check that at your own leisure if you want to. This library sounds better than it does on the file. The Grateful Dead, Bob Marley, Aerosmith, Tupac, Kendrick Lamar, Led Zeppelin, Marshall Tucker Band, Meatloaf, Violent Femmes, Steely Dan. That library sounds better on this set. This is something that would have been great to go against the file. I like this better than the 1BA file. That other BA does make a difference. You know, to do 12 BAs, is that necessary? No. 10, possibly 8, I think so. I think that's where it gets to be clearly. Jumping beyond 8 BAs becomes gambling, pretty much. Like, are those 2 BAs at 10 going to give you more? I don't know. This is only 2. It's doing great. But I remember the Comet by Campfire Audio, it sounded great. That was a single BA. The Fire was a single BA. It sounded great too. So this has got 2. It sounds very nice. I wreck it. I'm going to put a green check next to it. And this is the way that this goes. I didn't plan on doing this video. I plan on doing the file, and I put my briefcase right here, open it up like some kind of somebody, and then fucking put it in, and then answer the questions about whatever anybody asked. And I suddenly got annoyed by what the Fire was doing with the bass on a Meatloaf track. That album and this song changed today's presentation. It didn't sound great. First thing that jumped out was the bass. It sounded fine on this. Started to listen to the song in its entirety and the details, and then switch back and forth between this and the file FH7, and I was liking this better. That would probably mean that there'd be several that I would like better than that FH7 set, but we're talking about this one because this one was what was near me, and I grabbed it, and I like it, and it sounds good with all of the things that are on my library. Bass is good, enough that when I was doing it with a beryllium or a kind of A and Bing, that I thought this sounded better. I've got bass head blood in me, but I want it to be a good, clean slam, like I could do with the Legend X, or I could do with the ASG 2.5s or a taped EX800 ST, with still mids that are not totally destroyed. So I know what good bass is, and the FH7 isn't giving it to me with what you see on that library. Perhaps other stuff I could find. Like I said, Tupac, because the crossover, what I would do in my car would be closer to 70 hertz, sounded better on that. Something like Ghetto Boys or lower didn't sound that great, and something higher, I don't know. Bass guitar goes, the fundamental harmonica's got a very wide range. The basic, I think, is something between 20 and 400 hertz, roughly. The 4 strings and the fundamental range. I could be slightly wrong there, but that's about where it is. Because if you play with the fundamental bass region, the later stage, close to 330, you can pick up the fourth and last string decently without interrupting your mids. The Fio is not seeming to do that really well. I can't get my head around it. Don't really know why. So sorry to talk about the Fio so much, but this thing is even in a video because of the Fio. And because I suddenly was not comfortable with what was going on and decided, what is that? So instead of going to another dynamic, just grab a BA. And it sounded better, which is a trip. Doesn't make sense. But again, if I went into an audio shop, I'd pick this one and not the Fio. And this is at least half the price of that, I think. So take your heights and widths and depths and layering and stick them in your ass. This plays that song better than the Fio does. All parts of it. The bass, the mids, the treble, the piano that is in this track. There's a lot of instruments in this track, and all of them sound better on this than they do on the Fio. What the fuck? I just fell in love with the Fio. I was literally going to put it in my briefcase and rank it. And then now suddenly it's not going to even be in the case. Not in the top 5 anyway. There's a honeymoon stage with this stuff. Not a honeymoon stage, or just the brain hearing a new delivery, and the difference of whatever you had before itself is a kind of appeal. And when you go back later, you let go of whatever that was. It's like a honeymoon, I suppose. And then reality sets in, and that's why sometimes my list, I protect the top 2 to be really clear. But beyond that, sometimes I calm down and I see things differently and change it. So somebody said, oh, he flips flops. You don't. You pick what you like and then what you don't like, or you think is your second favorite, and that never changes. You don't ever sit down and listen to a different source or something, a different file, and think, you know what, my other set actually sounds like it's got better guitars. You don't do that? You don't listen to music, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. This sounded good when I listened to it. Nothing outstanding. The other one sounded great. Get lined up with a particular song. One particular song, and suddenly everything's coming out at me like, this is not ideal. What's up with that? Go play with the bass. It's getting worse. Before I shut that down, let's take a BA, go with the bass. It sounds better. That's weird. Now let's get out of the bass and let's go listen to the rest of this 8-minute, 29-second opera, and to see if other stuff, and the whole entire song and all parts of it and all instruments within sounded better on the Fearless than it did with the Fio. What the fuck? I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. So I won't even try. That's my library. Those are my test tracks. I don't know if that'll give you any better of a view of what that is. And I think the Fearless are great. I think they sound better than the 1BA Fio and the Campfire Audio, because 2 drivers tuned good, I guess, does that. That does make sense. So I'm going to wreck these. This is a surprise. Not only did I not put something in the top 5 that I said I was going to, I'm taking another set that I didn't think I was really going to be very impressed by, and now I'm thinking where I'm going to put this set. This is the kind of stuff that gets done behind the scenes or off camera or off blog, and then the thoughts are collected and then presented. I'm actually doing it to you kind of almost live. This is absolutely not what I was planning on doing at all. And it doesn't necessarily make me look very good, because I'm kind of going back on what I said about one item, which is the Fio, and presenting another item which I had no hype whatsoever about for about a month, and suddenly saying it's great. That itself is not really great for me, but it's a true story. It's what happened today. and I think the FiO was good, the FH7. But you might run into clarity. I don't know if that's the word. It just, there's some things that seem to be, I don't know. I can't, in a future video, I guess I'll try to figure it out. But today I won't. I'll just say that I think that the Fearless 2BA Pearl something Pearl would be the set that I would take if I was in an audio shop and knew nothing about either company or the price. I think I'd buy it anyway because it's cheaper and it sounds better. But you know, if I was blind testing, I think probably most people would choose this set over the FiO. And why would you compare a price and a different type of? This is BA too, and that's a hybrid with a big beryllium. Why would you even compare them? Just fucking being me, man. Got one of them, got the other one lined up, literally on deck. Like this is coming up in the next 2 days, and I decided to pull it in today to see, am I having clarity issues, or is it my ears, or what? And now the FiO FH7 is not going to be going into my top 5, which was I don't know what the fuck. And then the Fearless is suddenly sounds really good. Like now I've got to take this set and compare it with stuff that I like already and see where it fits in. So like one thing just got pushed to the side and another thing got pulled into the mix. That wasn't the deal at all today. I wish every video was like this, to be honest with you, because I'd like to be just totally surprised. It's more authentic. I literally have no idea what word's coming out of my mind 2 seconds until it comes out. You guys know I'm not scripted. So I wrecked this, obviously. I've been wrecking it for, 16 minutes. And I could have done this video in 6 minutes. So, sorry. No, I'm not. Whatever. If you ordered the FH7, I think you're still going to like it, but you might find that other stuff that you think are really good with the clarity and detail are going to seem to be switch up to it. And if you're able to get the beryllium to really slam, let me know. I mean, with hip-hop I can do it, but with rock and 4-string bass I can't. And that's a big part of my library, so that's an issue that I'll have to revisit. Like today was God. I don't know if I should be more professional or try to go back to how I started in this hobby and just be kind of like this, which is fuck whatevers. I think I like this better because I'm going to end up listening to this more than I will listen to the other one. And I'm not trashing the other one. It's just A, B, and there is a specific A, and it's the Fearless Pearl, and there's a B, and it's the FH7, and between that A and that B, I would take the A, which would be the Fearless. And I didn't think that an hour ago. Fucking weird. I'm out. I don't even know what to say. The dog. Fuck you, dog.
Selling cocaine, the ripping shows, live on stage for hoes yelling.